recording. Okay, so let me talk about what we were doing all this time with teaching narratives, and like the questions that we asked ourselves. What should a primary school student learn from a narrative? What should our students learn from a narrative? And you probably know the answers. They need to learn comprehension, language skills, critical thinking. But what is more important, like for us, this is the very important moment. They need to learn empathy. They need to learn communication skills, because most of them still study online, and like even simple communication can be difficult. They need to learn moral and ethical values, because they are so very important if we look at the Ukrainian situation now, and of course problem solving. So with all this, we probably need to provide them with the learning experience that helps them to do this. And now I'll be going through the steps. So step number one, we took from SFL, we took this main parts or main elements of the story, which are place, time, characters, problem, and solution. And we made the cards, which looked like this. So this is the photo from the classroom. And every time, I also have the cards with me here. So, and like every time we are doing something, we're showing them the cards. And so they have, you see, they have English and Ukrainian both. And the cards work miracles because besides like mapping a story or retelling a story, we found out that the cards are very important for differentiated instruction. Because some kids are able to retell the whole story, and for some kids, it's just enough to tell about the characters and the setting, the problem, and solution. And that is cool. That is good because now all the stories that we are going through, they may listen to a story, or they may watch a film, or they may do anything else, like different modalities, but still they have this idea. It is very new for Ukrainian education, because in Ukrainian education, usually they spoke about the structure of the story, beginning, the main part, and the end or the conclusion. Doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. But when we talk about the elements, it works much better. And kids are able to retell and to understand more. So then with all this, and that is how we keep working. Yeah. So every story we have, we are going through the same, like with the same cards. They recognize the cards. One girl can get this card, another can talk about this. So it works well. Then we thought that we definitely need emotions, and we, like, for the emotions, we took the card with the characters, and again, as in SFL, we kept telling them that every character feels, thinks, tells, and acts. Yeah? And it is very important for understanding what the character does. So, and we went through the basic emotions, and like, emotions are cool, but we didn't know what to do with the emotions. Here is the example of the chart. So every time they were telling us, I am happy, the emotion is happiness. Like, I'm happy because But actually, that was mostly for just learning about the emotions, because somehow, like, we didn't know what to do with the emotions by that moment. If the elements worked well, the emotions were just a knowledge. So they learned about the emotions, but you know, they were messing them up. Very often we asked kids about something and they were like, is it about emotions? So it's not that we were able to utilize this knowledge really well. So we did the emotions. With the emotions, naturally, it was to like to connect emotions with their body language, and it's in Ukrainian. The cards are in Ukrainian, but it's when you are angry, your eyebrows are low here, so you have hands in fists, and like they showed it, they mimed it, but again, this is just the knowledge. We didn't know what to do with this. It was fun, but I don't know. Then we decided that it's time to talk about descriptions, and you know, we were going like in different directions. So we didn't know, like we didn't have this path, so we were doing everything we could find. So then we looked through the five, we wanted to teach them this show, don't tell language. So we decided that 5 senses would be very good for them to practice. We looked at the 5 senses, and these were the types of exercises, but then we decided that it's already time to connect the 5 senses to the elements of a story, of a narrative. So we were trying different, like, what do we need these descriptions for? And we discovered that most of all, the 5 senses for young kids are connected. So these are the different worksheets, like we were talking about time, plus senses. What do you feel? What can you see? What can you hear? What can you smell? What can you touch? It didn't show, like, it didn't actually bring us to the emotion, but still it was fun. So then we talked about places plus senses, also fine, but you know, you don't know how to use it. And finally, we found out that it works really well with like 5 senses plus emotions plus weather, because weather often creates the overall mood of the story. So, and we started playing with weather and asking them what emotions they have, and it was step number 1 to show, don't tell language, because like it was a bright sunny day and kids are like immediately. So it means that there is happy atmosphere, and so probably the story will be about something pleasant. This part worked. So, and then we even had this narrative that was called The Forest of Emotions. And we read the story. Then it was like this. The girls, they come to the forest and they can't find the way out because there are different doors, and they open a door and they need to recognize the emotions of the people by what they are doing. And so that was a good story, because finally it united that was the connection of show don't tell language, because girls, they come into the forest happily, and then suddenly the storm, the wind, and they appear somewhere, they appear so on the place with the doors, so they need to open the doors and to discover who is there, and they discover it because they already know the language of the body language, yeah, so they can recognize it. That was not bad, but again, that was still, we were still like, yeah, we were still trying different, we were thinking, yeah. So, and that was one of the thinking moments. So, and yeah, for this, they, so if here they connected emotion plus body language, so we decided that probably there will be a moment when they can go back to what a character feels, thinks, says, and does, and connect emotions to this. So, and that was good, because they observed their relatives, they observed like what people are doing, and their task was to come back and to like to give examples of people who are angry or who are so there were some of them which were really funny. People who are angry, people who are so disgusted, people who are nervous, and so on. And they were observing their relatives. And that was a very that was a very psychological, you know, exercise, when they were telling what their dad said when he got angry. So SFL worked here so great, because they were going through the stages. Like my dad felt angry, so I don't know what he thought, but he said so, and he so that was funny. That was very psychological. Yeah. So, and but still we practiced it, and we didn't know what to do with it again, because you need to go back to a narrative. It's still not a narrative, it's the preparation. So our next step was that we took pictures from the movers exam, from the Cambridge movers exam. There are picture stories, and we tried like picture story and written story. And our idea was that we take the story, and they at first they try to tell what it is in the pictures, then they read, and I wouldn't say that it worked really well. It worked, but you know, somehow it was difficult. Okay, I'm already finishing. And finally, like our 2 weeks, like we are practicing a different type of narrative. So what we are doing, we took, first of all, we decided that all narratives, they have to be about values and about like positive values in characters. So this is a good narrative, but it's just a narrative. And what we need something that like the stories that show, for example, how a new girl comes into a class and how they develop friendship with a new girl. Because now many people like from the east of Ukraine, they are coming to the class, and how they integrate, it is very important. So we took this story, and now is the central moment. So, and look what we got. So this is the story. I will make it bigger. Yeah? So this is the story. Yeah? So the story is about two kids. One is Anya, another is Vasil. Anya comes to the class, she's a newcomer, so then Anya is alone in the cafeteria or in the canteen. Yeah, so then Anya doesn't take part in playing games, and then Vasil comes to her, asks her if she wants to play, and then they play together. Yeah, and at first, we took the story itself and we asked kids to we didn't have all this. There were only what Vasil felt, what he thought, what he said, and what he did. And there were two characters, the boy and the girl. So, and at first, this part was blank. They had to decide how the person was feeling. Like, for example, she was nervous. Why do we know that she was nervous? Because she has her shoulders lowered and she doesn't look up. So, but what does she think? She probably thinks that, oh, there are so many new people, I want back to my school. Yeah, so then what she says, she doesn't say this, she says hello. Yeah? And but how she says hello? And one girl said to us, you know, she probably said hello in a very low voice. And that is how, you know, that is how she thought the person who is nervous and scared should behave. And what she did, she took her place. But again, we said, how was she going to her place? Was she like marching, or was she hopping, or was she? No, she was just, you know, she in Ukrainian that was вона тихо прийшла, like she how to say it, she sneaked to her place, you know. Yeah. And finally we had the feeling that we you know, we are on the right way, because we can connect all these ideas. We can talk about what the story is in simple words. Then we can use descriptive language, like one sunny day, or one sunny day in one sunny September day, or something like this. And we can ask them for the interpretation. If it's a sunny day in September, what is this? And, you know, they were able to figure out that this is the beginning of the school year, because it is still sunny and it's September. So probably this is the beginning of the school year. But is it the first day in class? No, it's not the first day. It's probably a week after the classes started, because it is still warm, but kids already know each other and a new girl comes. And so here they learn how to interpret this language, like how to transform the language, and with what they feel, what they think, what they say, and what they do. You know, this theory that we don't tell everything. Yeah, to make the story dynamic, we don't need all this information. We probably will need some. And that was the best moment when we asked them to choose which parts are necessary for a dynamic, interesting narrative. Yeah, so where they need to, like, for example, one sunny day, the teacher came into a class with a new girl. Yeah, so the girl, so this is our new or your new classmate, Anna, the teacher said. Hello, said Anna in a very low voice and sneaked into her place. Vasily followed her. Yeah? So, and through this, they were able to they choose only this part for the introduction. But as they went through the steps, they were able to interpret what every character was feeling, thinking, and telling, and what the meaning of this was. So, yeah, and we finally were able to figure out how we can teach social emotional learning to them, like how we can do the social emotional learning with the kids, because through the steps we can, we can not only teach them about that this is the feeling of anger, yeah, or this is the feeling of something. It won't work. But if they know that the person thinks this, feels this, tells something different, yeah, so and behaves this way, yeah, it will probably make them think more of the people around, because now we really need to, they really need to be more empathetic. And you can't develop this empathy through only like things like empathy means being kind to people. If you are kind to people, please ask questions and so on. It won't work. But through such stories, they were able, like one girl, she said, I am also a new girl at school because in her older school, in her school before, so there was no shelter. And when there were alarms, they didn't study. So her parents, so she left that school, and now she's in a school with the shelter where they can study. And kids didn't accept her. But there was one boy who came together with her. And, she related so much to this story because she said, he came to me and he asked me what your name is. And we are sitting together. And now I want to go to that school because before I didn't want to go to a new school. Yeah. So, and from here, we may already start discussing with them how you behave with new kids, what you do when you see a new kid. Do you keep playing your game or you try to involve this kid? Do you keep like eating and discussing your own like businesses, or you try to involve the kid? And how you're doing this.
Maryna, can I just ask, when you're using the storyboard like this, are you constructing the narrative in each of the cells orally, or are you writing it on a board or a whiteboard?
They had it on their, so like they had it was like this. So let me show you. It was like this.
Okay, they had their own copies.
Yeah, so each has a copy, and actually our first copy was like this. It was blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was blank, and through their comments, we could only understand what they are able to, what they really need, because they commented, and then we, there were so many funny things. Like one girl said, imagine, she said, kids were discussing whether they should take Anya into a game or not. And half of them said yes. And another half said no. It's funny, weird. But Vasil didn't obey. And he said, I will go and take Anya. to the game.
And
Yeah.
this isn't the really young children that you were working with last year. These children would be older.
Same from the last year, second and third grade. Yeah. Second grade, and one is the second grade and one is the third. Yeah. So and now we're going through teaching and learning cycle. So our plan is to have the same story, only about two boys. Yeah. Again, a new boy comes, and what happens, like how they become friends. So we don't know how this part will work, but yeah. So again, we'll see. And here is the question, like I'm stopping the recording here, or maybe for Ruslana to think of this question. We really need, we don't know how this part will keep working, but what we really need now is to categorize the values so that which values we teach in the first grade, which values we teach in the second, third, and fourth, so that all narratives, so that we could see this progress. And you learn how to be kind in the first grade, then in the second grade you learn how to be something else and something else. And probably like our idea up to now is that we may take different spheres of human life, like personal, interpersonal, society, and global citizenship. And probably at some, we haven't tried it, but probably at some stages of life, like maybe grade 1 is more about personal, and like a bit about interpersonal. Maybe starting with grade 3, they are more able to understand the society engagement, like this, like bigger scheme. I don't know. And as for global, it's more about interacting with other cultures. Again, we do need it because we have kids from different ethnic groups now. And so maybe but the question is, the question here is that they still need to recognize it, that it's about me. It's about me and people I know. It's about me and the whole country. Yeah, and it's about me, my country, the people I know, my country, and the whole world. Yeah. So again, that's the other part of the plan which we don't know answers to yet.
Bev, this reminds me of, I don't remember the English K to 6 in New South Wales that you wrote, where you had communicating, and it was a register continuum, really. About it went from kindergarten, year 1, the sort of things that they would be talking about and with whom, and it's about what we would call a register continuum, isn't it?
Yeah, and we could probably find, oh gosh, I've given away my copy of all of the activities.
Okay, let me stop